Welcome to Life Between the Young Guy. I'm your host, Sid White, and this is the podcast where we discuss relations, mental health, finance, and other modern issues young individuals are impacted by. Enjoy. All right, so currently we are talking about politics. We're just kind of freestyling this. There's really nothing scheduled. We're just going back and forth. But I do have my good friend here, Amani. Say hello to the people, Amani.
Hello, everybody.
Give yourself a little brief introduction.
My name is Amani. Me and Sid have been knowing each other for how long would you say, Sid?
Wow,
It was
you
since
forgot that
about
quick.
2020, about 2020. So about 4 years now. We've been really, really,
Mm-hmm.
really good friends. And I have been asking him to invite me on here for quite some time, so I'm finally happy that I'm on here.
Hallelujah. Amen. It's past due time, but we
Yeah,
here.
definitely past due. We made it though.
Amen. Amen. Well, once again, highly appreciate you being on here. Even though it's been like 4 years, like you said. But no shade. We're not gonna throw any shade here. You know, this is a friendly conversation. But yeah, today's topic, as you've seen by the title, we're just talking about politics and just gonna ask her some questions. We're gonna get her feedback and we're just gonna go back and forth. Uh so I guess to start off, and do you think there should be an age limit on politics? Why or why not?
Define age limit. Like, do you mean age limit as far as when you can run? Age limit as far as when you can vote? Define age limit.
Age limit, as in, there needs to stop. Like, you're too old to be president, or you're too old to be governor. Like,
That's what
you're
I
tapped
figured.
out.
That's
You're
what I was
done.
gonna say next too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
was about
good.
to say that next. I do. I'm kind of yes and no on that question. I feel like yeah, you should like after some time, yeah, it should be a cutoff. But at the same time, that's ageism. But I would say honestly, although I am yes and no, I don't know. I guess I would have to say yes that I do believe that there should be a cutoff because once you enter into like a certain age, I feel like sometimes for some people there could be kind of a disconnect. When you're 70 plus, trying to connect with maybe like a younger audience to get their vote and different things like that. So I think yeah, there could be a cutoff after a while.
So so you said yes and no, or you just said yes?
Yeah, I was yes and no at first, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, yeah, probably yes.
So
Being
I'm
a
assuming
cutoff.
that no, you're good. So I'm assuming that you're excited about Kamala Harris. You know, a new younger face that's running this country.
Yes,
Though
Miss
Biden, he did his
Kamala.
job.
Yes, he did. I'm excited about Kamala. I love everything that she stands for, and I'm just very excited to see this presidential election. I think the DNC, which happened a few days ago, the DNC was amazing. I wish I could have been attending. Like, it was amazing
It
just to
was.
see the different people who spoke. Of course, Michelle Obama had the best speech of the night over the course of all 3 days. She had the best speech, but I mean, it's Michelle Obama. Like, why, not to be expected. But yeah, it was amazing to see the rallying, the support. It was just nice. I think, the Democrats, the Dems, they got it right with this situation. Watching the RNC, it was so boring. It looked like something that could have been just sent in an email. Um,
Wait, when
it
was
was
the RNC?
last week. It was the week before the DNC, I believe.
Jeez, I bet Trump is talking a lot of crap in that one too. I would imagine.
Yeah, he was. He actually addressed different, topics because the Obama spoke, Al Sharpton spoke. Actually, the central, well, now the exonerated five, they spoke out against Trump because when their trial was going on, he was very adamant about them being guilty. So they got a chance to speak out and all types of stuff like that. So
Jeez, no,
it was awesome to see.
no, and I agree. And the way things are going and the way the numbers are looking, as I've been watching the news, there's a chance you might get this in November. Um, but like I said, I'm not going to jinx or anything. I don't want anything to jinx. But for what I'm seeing right now, I mean,
So who are you rooting for, Sydney?
You will ask me this on this podcast.
Just
I
out
hate
of
you.
curiosity.
No, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with the people. Me personally.
You're a Trump supporter?
Okay, hold on now. Okay, hold on. let's back.
Okay,
Let's back it up.
wait a minute. No, because this is news to me too. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's see. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. You're good. I'm not a Trump supporter. Let's, let's just get that out the way first and foremost. But um, I am getting more into politics. I'm trying to learn, educate myself more. But as of right now, who I would choose, don't hate me for this. I would go with
Okay.
Kamala as well. I'm going with Kamala. One, we don't have a based on Donald Trump's history when he was president, the first 4 years, it wasn't looking too good, right? So, I mean, we don't really have much of an option. I mean, why wouldn't you choose Kamala if you're not a Republican, obviously? But I mean, just based on the things that Trump has done and got away with, and is still able to run for president, I'm like, this man is a felon. He's a convicted felon, but yet he still has the right to run for president. Tell me how that makes sense. All that is just money, power, and I hate to say it, but it's white supremacy. The way I look at it. Now, I don't want to offend anybody, but if we're gonna keep it a buck,
Mm,
that's what it is. Would you agree or would you not agree?
oh, I would definitely agree. There's been nobody in history that's been a convicted felon who has had the opportunity to, run for president. Convicted felons can't even vote. So,
Is
the fact that he's still able to run for president is very, very crazy and just shows that this system, he has the complexion for the protection, obviously.
ooh, I like that. I like that. What's that one more time?
Complexion for the protection.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Girl, you might be in the wrong field. You might need to be a rap artist. That was a bar. No, I 100% agree though. But I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, this is America, and most of Americans will vote for Trump. So I'm actually very curious to see how this goes.
I
It's
feel
very
like a
close.
lot of Americans fear what it is that they don't know. I think that they fear that, you know, plus I feel like it's also became so divided. It's either you're right or you're left. Like I don't think there's any gray area in there. It's, you're black or white. There's no gray. And I think that at the end of the day, with us being in America, I feel like because who we are as a country, you have the right to choose, support, do any and everything it is that you want to do. But um as far as you know, what is it that I'm trying to say?
Take your time.
As
Take your
far
time.
as where we stand politically right now, I think that although we may not be able to agree on everything, I think that there are some things that we should be able to agree on, general things that regardless of whether you agree with LGBTQ or not, they deserve rights just as much as anybody else. I think that we can all agree that school shootings, and all types of stuff like that, and being able to get a hold of, you know, major weapons, assault rifles like AR-15s and, stuff like that, AK-47s, should be made harder. And I think, there should be different, um, different things put in place as far as backgrounds. I think we can all agree as Americans on that. I feel like we just to kind of go in a little bit deeper on that, when it comes down to mass shootings, I feel like we have been so desensitized behind it because there have been so many for years. And, it's just certain things that I think we can agree on. And I think honestly with the right side, I think they fear what it is that they don't know. Honestly, and I think that they fear what they don't know and possibly want to take away the power of knowledge from other people. Like specifically taking out, important figures of history and black history and other things, and not really talking about America's history when it comes down to slavery and things that people of color have had to experience. But we could talk about World War II and Europe and Germany and the Jews and Hitler. We could talk about that all day every day. I have learned so much. I've been talking about that since I was about 4th, 5th grade. I feel like I've learned everything there is to know
Mhm.
about what went on during that time. But it's so many people and important figures um that a lot of times we do not know. And I feel like in schools especially they teach a lot of the same material, and
So
they
do you
teach
feel
a
like?
lot of the same material. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So do you feel like they're trying to take out Black history out of the textbooks or the
I
education
do.
system here in America?
I do, and then my whole thing is there's already so little in there as it is. Rosa Parks and MLK were not the only two leaders in civil rights history, and I think they did amazing. Don't get me wrong; they are pioneers, and I think they are the faces behind civil rights. But they were not the only two leaders. Like I think one thing that a lot of people really do not know is that Rosa is credited for being okay. What do you know her for? Let me ask you this: what do you know Rosa Parks for?
Uh, well, I would guess what everyone mostly known her for is she stood up for civil rights. I mean, hold her ground. Stand on that bus, not removing herself from that seat because she was tired, long day at work. I don't want to move either. So, I mean, I don't blame her, and I'm very glad that that she was brave enough to do that for our people, especially during that time, knowing the consequences of her doing that, but still doing that. So
And why her bravery is commended. She was not the first person to protest and stay on a bus. She was actually
I
the second.
I did not know that. Who was the first?
Mhm. It was a young teenage mother named Claudette Colvin. Um, and she was a teenage mom at the time, in the 50s, 60s. So it was definitely frowned upon. But she never, she was the first to do it. She just never got the recognition.
Why do you think that is?
Um, because she was a teenage mama. And I think, in some cases it could be frowned upon today, but I think during that time, definitely, it was definitely heavily frowned upon. Because you figure the ultimate goal back then for a lot of women would be to get married, have children, and probably call it a day.
Mm,
So I think back then it's just okay. You're a mom, you're young, we have a child out of wedlock, stuff like that. Definitely a lot of judgment and probably harsh from some of the seniors that she was around. So I think that's what prevented her from becoming the face, well, one of the faces of the bus boycott.
thank. I mean, either that or and thank. Actually, for one, thank you for educating me on that. I did not know. Claudette. Say that one more time.
Claudette Colvin.
Claudette Coven. I'm gonna look that up.
Mhm.
I'm gonna see if you're right. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But no. Wow. So, do you feel like their life stories? Well, I guess. Hold on. My question is: do you think their upbringing made a huge difference of the who's more? I would say more popular, but who's more known,
What do you
or
mean,
do you
like as
not?
far as the morals back then? What do you
Well, you said
mean?
that she was a teenage mother, right? During
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
50s, 60s, and Rosa Parks was maybe a little older. What? Maybe her 40s, 50s. I would assume. Actually, how
Yeah,
old was
probably
Rosa? Let me look
30s,
this up.
going
Let me
on
see.
40, somewhere in there. Yeah, middle age.
I'm actually curious right now. Let's see. When bus. Okay, she was 42 during that. She was 42. Okay, cool. I did not know that. Wow, I thought she was a lot older than that. Well,
Mhm.
I need to tea.
I figured she
That
was
is
middle
crazy.
age because she died in the 2000s. I think she was like in her
I think
90s.
2005. I believe so. 2005. So she lived a good life, but um,
Mhm.
yeah, I guess a lot of people don't know about Claudette being the first person to actually stand up in that sense. Um, Thank you for that. Like I really didn't know that. Actually,
Mm,
just to verify.
there are so many people who often do not get talked about, who, black figures who do not get talked about enough, from W.E.B. Du Bois to Mary Bethune to Marcus Garvey, Shirley Chisholm, who was, the first African American congresswoman, and like Booker T. Washington, people like that, Jackie Robinson, Medgar Evers, a lot of people who often go unrecognized. Like, if I was to ask you right now, Sydney, what does NAACP stand for? Without looking it up.
Dang, you doing me dirty. Um, See, I know it, but since I'm on the spot, is it okay? Is it national? Is that the first word?
Mhm.
NAA. African American.
Mm-mm.
It's not African American. NAA. Hold on,
Mm-mm.
don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Dang,
You
you
better
making
not
me
be
look
looking
bad.
it up.
No, I ain't looking it up. You just making me look bad at my own podcast. It's crazy. Um, this is crazy. My uncle gonna listen to this like, dang nephew, you let me down. Uh, I know what NAACP is. Okay, just let y'all know. I know what it is, but what it stands for, I'm gonna need you to tell me.
National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Yeah, I would have not guessed that. I'm not gonna lie. I would not have
Mm.
guessed that. And who's the founder of this?
Great question. I used to know off the top of my head. Let me look that up. Yeah, okay. I guess you put me on the spot of that as well.
Yeah. Now you get. So,
And we're just gonna go back and forth about Black history, see who know what, see it.
oh well, no, this is about politics, not Black history. Hold on to money.
Mm. It was actually different people, a lot of people, but they range from Bishop Alexander Walters, Oswald Garrison Villard, Henry Moskowitz, William English Walling, so Mary White Ovington. So it was founded by 14 people, and those are just to name a few.
Okay, so those are like basically the founders that really put the group together in a
Yeah, but I
sense.
did know that it was a mixture of black and white people who um founded the NAACP. Yeah.
Now that I did not know. Thank you for
Mhm.
another history known fact. So I guess while we're on that, do you think why do you think why do you think more black people are Democrats versus more white people being Republicans or liberals and conservatives or in that nature? Why do you think?
I think it kind of goes back to our history
Mm-hmm,
um and stuff. Now, over the course of history, things have definitely changed. If you look back, even back during the Civil War era,
mm-hmm,
Dems were pro slavery, excuse me, while Republicans were anti.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I think over time that has changed, and I think that a lot of times with conservatism today, and this is just my opinion
mm-hmm.
on it, with conservatism, I don't see where people of color fit in to their views, their ideologies. I don't see where we benefit in any way, shape, or form when it comes down to conservatism.
Okay,
Um,
give us one example of what they believe in, if you don't mind.
well, just as an example, and this is just not, for all conservative people,
Mm-hmm,
but case in point, Project 2025, um, which is being pushed by Republicans. One of the biggest things that they are pushing is to get rid of the DEI. That's you know, diversity and inclusion, and it, could possibly eliminate affirmative action and um also take a lot of things out of American school books. And like I said, Black history is already limited within itself of what it is that, children are taught. A lot of the stuff that I was taught about Black founders and Black leaders and Black inventors and stuff was you know, outside of school, that my mom enforced in us.
Hmm.
And, eliminating that, the history that's already limited within itself, and then pushing, well, we should be learning about this, learning about that. It surprises me that Americans do not want to go back and actually, excuse me, talk about the past. Like, I don't understand that, actually talk about what happened on American soil. They don't want to revisit the bad. They don't want to revisit anything that makes America look less than great. So, but I feel like you can't move forward without acknowledging your history.
No, I agree. Because if we no, I 100% agree with you in there. Because if we ignore it, then we're just gonna repeat it. I
Yes,
mean,
and history does repeat itself. Like, I look at, the fact that the main three amendments that helped Black people in the early, maybe late 1800s, from slavery to, the civil, from slavery time to civil rights, for 13, 14, and 15.
hmm.
Um, 13th, abolishing slavery. 14th, if I have this correct, I hope I don't butcher this. I know the 13th abolished slavery. I
Correct.
want to say the 14th stated that anybody born on American soil was to be considered an American citizen, and the 15th gave Black people, i.e., Black men, the right to vote. And the fact that those amendments are being challenged still even today, you know, you have people, in the powers that be trying to put different things in place to make it harder for people of color to vote. It's crazy, but I feel like if you don't know your history and know about the different tests, that they tried to set in place, to stop people from voting, you wouldn't
Hmm.
realize that it's systemic. It's been going on since the beginning of time. And I think we have to talk about that. We have to acknowledge that. And I think, like I said, just to bring it back to what it is that I was saying, when it comes down to being conservative, I just don't know where I, as a Black woman, fit into their plan or their
Hmm.
ideology. And you
So
do have Black conservatives, and I feel like you have the right to be whoever it is that you want to be. If you want to be conservative, do your thing, absolutely. But for me personally, I just don't see where I fit in.
no, no, and I agree with you, right? Like at the end of the day, this is America, so you have the right to do whatever you choose to vote for whoever you choose, right? But I feel like a lot of
Absolutely.
times we as Americans, including myself, we vote based on what others tell us, right? Instead of doing the information ourselves or doing the research of ourselves. Like,
And I
why
can't
should I
stress
vote for this person? Why should I not vote for this person instead of listening to your family member that tells you why to vote for them when they don't even know why to vote for them too? They just say that because, oh, he's black, that's why, or oh, he's white, that's why, or oh, he's going to benefit me in this way, but not in this way, you know. And so I feel like us as American people, we need to educate ourselves and not just doing it just to join the wagon bus or whatnot. But
we definitely need to educate ourselves because people will see stuff, take it and run with it and constantly share it. And
mm-hmm,
next thing you know, you're looking at this person a certain way. Like, case in point, for example, a little bit after Kamala had announced that she was running, there was this image on Facebook that was going around, and it was her at this luncheon.
mm-hmm,
And just by looking at it first glance, it was with a lot of women, and a lot of them appeared to be white women.
okay,
Um, and there was a person in the corner. It was a Black man who I guess was supposed to be the server for the luncheon. And the title read, somebody shared it saying, you know, this is who y'all want to vote for. She's supposed to be for Black people, but look who all attended this luncheon. And literally, the luncheon, they try to make it seem like this was something that was recent. The luncheon was of her and all the women of Congress. And it was just like, I would just say to anybody, stop getting your information on, you know, the president's, the president see what's going on. Stop getting it off of TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat. Please do research for yourself because you have people who are just honestly anti Kamala, anti Trump who will take things and they'll run with it. They'll fabricate stuff, they'll stretch stuff, they'll make lies. And although I'm not a Trump supporter or a Trump fan in any way, shape, or form, I don't believe in lying on anybody.
Mm-hmm. No, no, and I
So it's
agree.
just like do your own research. Don't let people, you know, don't let anybody influence you or have you turn any which turn you in a certain direction or turn you in a certain way just because maybe they see somebody in a certain light. If you are a Trump supporter, be a Trump supporter. That's you. If you vote for Kamala, vote for Kamala. But don't allow false narratives and lies and fear mongering and everything else to deter you from what's actually important. Like um
And
Kamala,
no,
she's been getting so much backlash from people on the right side. Like I every day, I when I casually scroll on Facebook just to see, what's going on, anything new, I see so much Kamala hate for no apparent reason. Honestly, it's just like, okay, if you don't want to support her, that's one thing, but to try to tear her down is crazy.
honestly, and I feel like, and I hate to be that guy, but I mean, if we're going to point it out, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying from my view. Honestly, I think she's getting this hate because one, obviously, she's a colored woman running for president, and two, she is a woman, right? And we haven't had as many women run for president, which is a great thing. It's a great thing that we have a woman running for president. But I don't think America's used to that, or I don't think America wants a quote unquote colored woman for president. You know what I mean?
And
I
it's
mean,
just
because you know the stereotypes
I
of what they say
I don't
about women in
understand it
general,
either.
right?
Honestly,
So
I
let
don't.
alone having a woman ruling your country. Uh, me personally, I would love a woman to rule my country, but I'm just speaking from the general perspective of what Americans think. Um, and I don't think they should think like that, right? Just because you're a certain gender doesn't mean you can't do a certain thing. In a sense, but that's just my 2 cents of how I think of it. But obviously that's why I think mostly she has left. Wow. Okay. Well, Amani just has left my podcast. Okay, sorry about that. Amani's Wi-Fi dropped, so she exited the call. So I had to pause it, but I'm just gonna edit it out so you guys don't have to worry about that. But as I was saying, that is my reason why I think uh people are very, I wouldn't say angry at her, but they don't want her to be president because she's a colored woman and they're not used to that. And they don't want that to happen because they see that as a fear. They're scared. At least that's how I think.
Which
Um
I don't really understand because I was talking to a friend, and we were kind of going back and forth on whether or not she agreed with the idea of Kamala Harris being president. And she said no, and I asked her what was her reasoning. And she said, well, I just don't feel like a woman, that's a woman's place. Like, I think that, why would you want to be in that position? And, it'll cause so much stress and send you into early menopause and all some stuff like that. And so we're going back and forth. And,
mm,
but, in a positive way. Like it wasn't, anything negative. But
yeah.
I asked her, I was just like, you could be on any job. You could be a nurse, a teacher, a janitor, a sanitation worker, and experience stress on the job. Like that, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
what job. You could be a lunch lady and experience,
Mhm.
stress on a job. I think it's levels to it. And, with being the president, I think does a lot more stress come with it. Absolutely. But Kamala is 50 plus. I'm sure if she hasn't, I'm sure she will eventually just by, just naturally experience menopause. I don't think her being the president will send her into early menopause. She's 50 plus. Looks good, but she's 50 plus. So I think if she hasn't already, she's going to experience it naturally just because, you know, she's a woman of a certain age. And, I didn't really agree with her rhetoric. Like to me, it doesn't matter whether she's a woman, man, anybody should have that chance and opportunity to run for president. And it annoys me when people say, "Well, a woman would be too emotional. Well, a woman is this, a woman is that." Not at all. You have a president, well, former president anyway. Donald Trump was emotional. Donald Trump, he, got upset when, somebody agreed with anything other but himself. So it's just like regardless of men have showed their emotions in these seats. So I just
So
don't really know. Hmm.
no, no, you can continue. What were you about to say? I'll let you finish.
Oh no, what were you finna say?
No, I was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
say. So, do you think Americans think that women go off of their emotions versus facts?
Yeah, probably so. I think a lot of people have that in their head.
Hmm. So, and I agree with you with Trump. Like at the end of the day, we're humans. We all have emotions and whatnot. That's just a given. Um, but I don't think that should stop a woman from becoming president. Like this isn't the '60s anymore. This isn't the '50s where obviously that was 100% inevitable for a woman to do that. Just because of the rules and regulations during that time. But obviously, since we've progressed throughout history, uh, us as humans, we have more rights, right? More speaking to
Hmm.
color people, we have more rights that are granted for us. So therefore, we were able to step in these positions that we thought we could never do, even 20 years ago. Like, who would have known 20 years ago we have a woman running for president, let alone a colored woman? You see what I mean? Back in 2016,
Hmm.
when Hillary ran against Trump, we honestly thought Hillary was going to win until the last minute. But the fact that she even got close to becoming president, I mean, it just says a lot. So I feel like
Yes.
I feel like Hillary running for president, I feel like that just gave Kamala another boost of self esteem. Like, hey man, like she can do this. I'm pretty sure I can do this. And I'm all for it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care what gender rules this country as long as they're making it a better place for us. That's
Yes,
all that
and
really
they're,
matters.
being inclusive. They're, being inclusive, thinking about the greater good.
Exactly.
Thinking about everyone when they're making different policies, not just the rich, not just white people. Everybody,
Mm.
everyone.
No, and I agree, and I feel like that's what from what I've seen, I feel like that's what Kamala stands for, and she has my vote. So if my uncle is listening to this, I hope you're happy. Um, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But no, I 100% agree with you. I stand for everything you do, and I mean, I guess we'll just have to see in November, right?
Whew. Yes, I will say to any and everyone who will listen to this podcast, please make sure that you are registered to vote. It takes literally 5 minutes or less. The amount of time it may take for you to scroll, and it'll take longer for you to sit up here and scroll and waste time doing all that. Please
Mm-hmm.
go and make sure that you are registered to vote. Please vote early if you can. Do not wait until the day of to go and vote, and you don't necessarily know where your precinct is at. Please vote early. And if you do wait until the day, please know where your precinct is at. Please make sure that your address is updated. Please make sure everything that if you have changed, please make sure you go to the Board of Elections or whomever that you need to go to make sure that your address is changed so that you're in the right precinct to go vote. It is so crucial that you get out and vote this November, regardless of who side you're on. Get out, exercise your right to vote. Please.
Exactly. No, and I agree. Thank you for that. And one person can literally dictate of who becomes president. Literally one vote. Literally.
Yes, it can, and I can't stand with people. My vote doesn't matter anyway. I think it's all rigged. You do not know that. You do not know that. And even if it is, get out and vote anyway, because the ancestors didn't have the chance to. So get out and vote, please. If
Exactly.
you're a
No, and
woman, get out and vote. 104 years
mm,
ago, we didn't have the right to vote. So,
mm-hmm.
get out and do what you got to do.
Look at you. Look at that spitting that positivity. I like it. I like it.
Yes, please get out and vote. Because we need
That was,
it.
no, and I agree. We need it more than ever, especially where our society is leading at. I mean, it is getting chaotic, and I don't know what we're gonna do. So the first thing we can start by, voting for a great president. So, like Monty said, get your butts off this couch, stop listening to this podcast, and go vote. Well, finish the podcast, then go vote. Yeah. I'm gonna need y'all to finish this podcast, but and then go vote. but yeah, it's been good. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Monty. That was some very good insight, some good information that you shared with my wonderful audience. Is there any last words you'd like to say?
That probably should have been my last words.
You gotta think of something else now.
The message I would say to the people, please, like I said earlier, get out and go vote. Vote early. Please make sure that you are registered. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, please make sure that your address is up to date so that you're in the right precinct. Please vote early if you can. Don't wait till the day of, but if you have to wait until the day of, please make sure you know where it is to go. This
Mm-hmm.
election is so important. It's so important. And the biggest thing that you do not want to do is lose the opportunity while you have it, regardless of what side you sit on, what side of
I
the
agree.
fence, who you're voting for. Please not let this opportunity waste you by. Please show up to the polls in November. Your vote is your voice. If you have anything to say it at the polls.
No, and I 100% agree with you. And thank you for that
And that
wonderful
will
message
probably
for us and to me as well. And that was a great message. You did well. I'm very proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. This is where you say thank you now.
I'm happy to be.
No, I'm just fine. No, I'm just fine. I'm just fine.
All for listening.
Nice.
I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate you all for listening to Life Between the Young Eyes.
I appreciate that, Monty. I really do appreciate the support, and thank you for joining me on here and making the time out for me. You didn't have to, but you did. So highly appreciate it. Educating us once more and just learning more about the life of politics. But yeah, we're gonna end it here, folks. Thank you for joining in. Hope you learned something with you. Make sure you share it with your wonderful, beautiful friends and family. And until then, remember to stay humble, stay hopeful. Sid is out. Peace.